You believe that there is no way we can end this without negotiation being at the tail end of it? It's not going to be like the Meta-Sine riots or any of those other riots we've seen before now that just ended where we had nothing of them again. You still think that even if we're able to clear the Sambisa forest of insurgents and know perhaps where their funding is coming from, we will still need to negotiate with the terrorists?
My dear, I would say this. If I were to be at the helm of affairs and we have been able to identify where these girls are, I may not go in for negotiation, but get them out of that place. Okay? If we have not been able to actually identify where they are, for obvious reasons, because maybe they have been split all over the place, and so on. And even if you know any rescue action you may want to carry, will see yourself carrying out such action in 7, 8 different places, which is highly risky, you might want to go in for a negotiation. If a negotiation will, at the end of the day, make the belligerent to be able to gather all these girls and hand them over to you. All we want is to get our girls back alive. That is the ultimate thing.
Do you think this can work without us involving the police force?
The police force. It's a national thing. Any role the police can play within them in. Are we
not sure they're playing any role or they've been called upon to play any role as we speak?
You know, police actions in most cases are post-war actions. Post-war actions.
No,
because
in this particular case,
yes,
should it also be post-war?
If there is any role they can play, why not?
Do you think there's any role they can play?
I wouldn't doubt if we can be thinking of bringing in the International Red Cross to play a role, and so on. Why wouldn't our police play a role? Why a police that is really, well, that we've never doubted their performance, more so given the role they've played internationally. Our police force is sound. Forget all the corruption or whatever. Our police force is sound. Our very good guys within the police force. Very sound chaps.
What comes to mind now, Chamberlain, just because we also know that there is a security summit going on in Abuja involving the police and so many other agencies. If you look at it, which is very key for quite a number of months, we've seen the Nigerian military mounting roadblocks and checkpoints in some of those areas. Looking at the Nigerian police and looking at the competence of the professional ones amongst them, don't you think they would have been able to also help in that regard instead of waiting till the insurgency is over?
The point I am trying to make is that, look, the greater part of police actions, in most cases, are post-war actions.
No, we totally understand your point. So we're saying
that is not lost away from the fact that we don't have elements within the police force and even certain units that can play certain vital role. Who tells you part of the police force cannot make up what we call the special force elements? Why not?
And also have their bomb units.
Yes, and look at their bomb units and so on that have been playing fantastic roles.
So it cannot
I'm not looking down on the police in any way.
So it cannot entirely be post-war.
60% of police duties are post-war. Post-war because they will be taking care of all the civil issues that will be emanating within the civil population. No. Just like what they are doing now, keeping the peace here, making this, doing that, settling disputes. That's police.
I'm thinking about in terms of maybe members of the public volunteering information, either to the police and then over transmission to the military. This kind of, coordinated response from all the agencies working together.
Chamberlain, I don't even think we need to talk about that because I see that to be, let me call it, normal activities that should be ongoing.
Now that's the thing.
Even from you and I.
Yeah, you have
the military with information.
You have that perspective.
Yes.
But many out there don't. They think, okay, it's just the military.
No, that's wrong.
See reasons why
we're wrong.
Yeah, if they don't let them know, they just think, okay, well, that's the wrong military.
And you see, that is why on certain platforms I keep saying, look, that the military is at war what is ongoing now is not something we abandon completely to the military. Every Nigerian is involved. Offering whatever assistance you can. See something, say something. We must make sure we assist the military with every bit of information we can assist them with. Whether it's coming from the police source or from the military source, or I mean from the civil source or whatever.
Yeah, but you know that they say that if you want to let someone do something, you make it easy for him to do it.
Yes.
Many members out there will ask, okay, look, what's the easiest way that I can get information out to the authorities if I have it? Many don't know.
It's unfortunate.
It would seem as if this is not important, but I understand something about role play here. If you don't specify task and terms and put the ground rules, it will be very difficult for anyone to come in. So what Timberlake is asking, if we as a nation can say these are the ground rules and this is how we want the teams to come in, and specifically in clear-cut terms, tell the police what they should be doing in this fight against insurgency, they will know that they already have a role cut out for them. I mean, the hunters are even in this fight. The local hunters are in this fight. So why haven't we been able, as a people, to say this is what the police should be doing?
Thank you. Whatever you are saying is in support of this idea I've always had, that look, there is a need. Maybe after the entire fight of insurgency thing, we need to sit down as a nation and take a complete overhaul of our entire national security and defense management architecture. There is a lot of, do I say, shake-up that we need to bring into our entire security arrangement on ground. There are lots of brains and fantastic ideas wasting away, for instance, with the private sector security, which we need to bring mainstream. Okay? If you look at countries like the US, I mean, after 9/11, all the shake-up that went on that eventually resulted in the formation of the Homeland Security. Okay? They hinged a great deal or picked a great deal from the private sector security because lots of ideas and brains were wasted there and brought them in to the extent that in places like in the UK, the Olympics in 2012 or so was handled, the entire security was handled by private security organizations, taking away so much of responsibility from the police so that the police could concentrate on other more serious things.
Do you think we have picked a thing or two from all that's going on to also implement here?
We are yet to implement them. We are yet to sit down and do the overhaul I'm talking about to bring all this mainstream. I'm talking out of a wealth of experience, having served in the military. Now see myself as a private security sector man, seeing the amount of knowledge that is here, and I tell myself, Christ Jesus. And as a nation, we are wasting all this knowledge. I met with civilians who were talking security, and I was compelled to listen. And I told myself, look, as a nation, I think we are missing out on a lot of things. We just sit down and assume so much. So much. We need to reorganize a lot of things.
One of the areas, though, that, bothers me is the area of human rights. You have acknowledged that there is no way that we can fight this war, this battle, without, incurring collateral damage. We recall that we do have a history of the Nigerian military talking about human rights abuses. I think only recently Amnesty released a report on that as well. Do you think that this could put us on the danger list again, or countries to watch in terms of human rights abuses because of this bombardment?
The Nigerian Armed Forces is quite enlightened when it comes to human rights issues. Very, very enlightened. And that's why you saw that a good number of us were a bit pissed off when Amnesty came with all those allegations and what have you. All right? And I think all we need is probably strengthen a few areas. We know how to abide by international laws on warfare, which we call the laws of war. It's an area of study on its own, and I know even when you go through the staff college, you are damn exposed to all these things, and every violation of it has a young officer coming out of the Defense Academy, you are always aware of these things, and you see yourself saying it to your troops at all time, and things like that. So we are so conscious of it. They are very, very conscious of it.
Does it ever come to play when they're talking aerial bombardment?
Well, I would say yes, but I hope we do bear in mind, like I said initially, air bombardment would always, once in a while, give cause for, what do I call it, collateral damage, okay? Even when what do you call this bombing procedure now? Even when you are going on precision bombing, precision bombing, where you have completely sized up where you are going to release your bomb into and it cannot go outside that square. There are still human beings or property within that square that you will still damage. You understand me, Mark? So there are times you can't help these things. And if your enemy or whoever wants to pick you up on human rights issues sees such a thing, they could blow it up out of proportion.